We're very malleable at that point because we're insecure, and we look to them for our security through the money, right? Isn't that what is called financial security? We look to them for our freedom. And there's a whole lot of people out there in the world, you see, that are, in their own minds, because they don't have a parallel reality going on. They only have this one reality. This is what makes sense to them. This is the pragmatic reality. This is the practical reality, where you just find financial freedom. That's where you find your freedom, buddy. You find financial security. That's where you get your security. That's your way out of fear, is by being financially well heeled. And I'm here to tell you that that's a load, okay? And that's a facade. That's a fake out, okay? It's a balk. And really, you can't have any faith in the world or the things of this world. It's like having faith in the flesh, and we're told have no faith in the flesh. Yes, we all have this nature. Yes, we all tend to be money lovers because of the fact that we're taught our whole lives, we're trained to value this substance. And this makes a lot of sense to do this thing. This is practical. But you see, this isn't the way out. We're told in Scripture that we should be happy whatever our circumstances are. And this is really the only practical way out of fear. We're told that the poor fear that they will never have. That means they will never have prosperity in the terms of having money, right? Because that's how we measure prosperity generally. And we're told that those that have, that's the rich, fear that they will lose. So really, how is it any better to be rich and live in fear, or to be poor and live in fear? And if God is on the side of the poor more, because they're the misfits, they're the ones that are disenfranchised in this world, they're the ones that are not worldly, okay? They're storing their treasure in the kingdom of heaven within them, right? That's what Jesus said. The kingdom of heaven is within us, and that's where we should store these treasures. So if we are doing that, then we're storing our treasures in the right place. If we're storing our treasures here on earth in this temporal existence that we all know amounts to no more than a dream, in the sense that we all have to move along, right? From the day we're born, we know that we've got a numbered amount of days on this earth, and when our last breath is taken, we know not, unless we take our own lives, which is murdering of our own selves, which is a really bad thing. It's akin to murdering anybody else. It's this belief in death, but people get overwhelmed and they do stupid things. So just as murder is forgivable, certainly suicide can be forgivable. And I'm standing here at a place that was, before this fence was put up, it was an area where people used to come down the road here, what they call the Skyway, between the town of Paradise and Chico, and they drive their cars right off this cliff. I forget the statistics, I have to look them up, but many, I'd guess dozens of people over the years have taken their lives right here. But this is a forgivable sin because there is no death, and God's got that all under control. It's just like Jesus on the cross, when he said, "Forgive them, Father, they don't know what they do." They thought they were killing me. They thought they were snuffing out my existence, but nothing could be further from the truth, because God always owns our essence, our heart, our soul, our spirit, our mind. He created us as cosmic, eternal beings. And the good things that he gave us at birth, he will never take away from us. But our job is to make sure that we go to that better world, that we're found worthy to inherit that better place. And I'm going to get into that more right now. Admitting we're in fear is a very important first step to ever coming out of fear, because this is a form of confession. And then when you confess, when you admit it, you say, I don't like this feeling, and you want out, and you have to confront the manifold causes of your fear, of your insecurity, of your enchainment, of your enslavement, because that's what it is. You're enslaved. You're not free to live your life the way that you want to live your life, as you should live your life, born free, not born beholden to any man. So taking your insecurities and your fears to God for advice is the first and foremost thing I would recommend or advise anybody to do, is to really, in contrition, turn to God and say, God, help me. I'm your child. I know you love me, and help me find a way out of fear. Help me to go to that parallel reality where I know this, Father. I know that you love me, that me, just as a human being, made in your image and likeness, are beloved more than all the other creatures on the face of the earth. Beloved more than all the great He doesn't care a thing about the minerals, the gold and the silver, all that stuff. He loves us, like it is written, that we are worth more than many sparrows, each one of us. That he has numbered the hairs on our head. And I ask you, what most loving parent out there has ever gone so far as to prove their love to their child by counting the hairs on their head? But that's what we're told. That's the kind of love the Father has for us. And it's critical that we all understand that love. That's the parallel reality that we need to have with us at every moment of every day, to be able to just go to God in prayer and say, God, help me. And when we ask for something good like his help, it's promised that he will give us. So just remember that. Go to him. When you feel that fear, that agitation, that anxiety well up, the worry, the angst, and the anger, that comes with it, because that's all part and parcel. It's like trying to fight our way out of something, and it's very annoying and agitating to us. But we know we can't shrink away. A lot of people get that attitude, hey, I can't deal with it, just meditate and all this. But you see, you're not confronting the issue. And if there's one thing we all know intuitively and instinctively, is that if we don't confront things, they just get worse. You see, that's the problem that's been going on here, is that too many people have been benefiting from a very corrupt system. And I'm going to tell you just how that's happened and what's going on. You've heard these stories about the 1%, and then some people say, well, they've done the math, and it's a 0.1% actually of the people that are really running the show. In other words, the power brokers out there are this very tiny percentage of the uber wealthy people, the hyper wealthy. Now, these would be people that have access to the actual money printing rights, or they have inside connections that are compromised, blackmailable connections to the money printing printers themselves. So this is how the system works. And these are all people that are willing to do anything. Lying, cheating, stealing is nothing. Okay, look at how the Rothschilds gained their great fortune, cheating the stock markets. But these people are murderers. They hire other people to do their dirty work. They hire murderers. And they're killing us in manifold ways. I mean, with the GMOs, with the fluoride, with the vaccinations, with the chemtrailing, with this miasma, this atmosphere of darkness where, you're a bad person just to be breathing the air and to use any energy at all, to have any carbon footprint at all. You're bad. You're a plague on the earth. Even though the people telling you that are using the equivalent of what 10,000 men use, still you're the bad guy. And the best thing you could do for Mother Earth, for civilization, is just go kill yourself, okay? We don't need you. But as a facade, we rush into countries where there's an earthquake, some terrible natural disaster, a horror here, horror there. But in the meanwhile, we're letting our own citizens die out on the streets. We're bringing in all these desperate, hungry immigrants. We've got this clash of civilization going, which they have created this. They create all the chaos. They thrive on chaos. It's good for business. Ask the Chamber of Commerce if bringing in all the immigrants isn't good. Of course, that's what they're going to tell you, because it makes them more relevant. Anybody in the social services department, they say, oh, well, this is great. This is good business. We need it. Even though the country's in debt to the tune of all these trillions of dollars, they say. So our money is being debased daily. That's how the debt gets paid. Understand, it's paid back in debased dollars. The dollar has been debased by between 90 and 95%. It's gone down in value. So that means in the last 50 years, let's say, as a benchmark, let's go back 50 years to when minimum wage was $1.50 an hour, and $1 was $1, it was an ounce of silver. So let's look at that point in history. We see that inflation has run approximately 2,000%. That means a candy bar that cost a nickel, you could expect at a convenience store at least to pay $1 for that candy bar. So that is 2,000% from the nickel point, which means the value of your currency has declined by 95% in that time. This is how they get debts paid back, and that always falls on the backs of the poor the most. People that are making $100,000 a year, they don't care, because back in the day, if they were making $5,000 a year, that was a lot of money. So $100,000 a year, they're fine. They're well heeled. So really, the division is more acute than people are letting us on to. And I'm going to bring a very clear, concise example into play here. And this is what's happened in California. California is very critical to understand the economics here. It all comes down to manipulating commodities. And they can't manipulate luxury trinket commodities too much. They've done it with diamonds fairly successfully when you've got a monopoly just buying up all the diamonds and storing them in warehouses and releasing a few at a time and making it look like they're precious, even though we could all be walking around with pockets full of diamonds. Every person on earth could be. They don't want you to know that. They want to get a high price, so they have a monopoly and they regulate them on their basis, on how they want to, which means they can keep the price high. They can, if they decide to let them out even more slowly, release them more slowly, they can get even a higher price. They can manipulate that, but only because they own them all. But generally speaking, it's much harder to manipulate markets when it comes to luxury trinket items, like the VCR is one of my favorite examples. So, your VCR dollars, it's good. You could look at your dollar in terms of any given commodity. So VCRs, your dollar has gone way up. With clothing, it's declined some, but not a lot. Gasoline, some, but not a lot. There's still room for that for your currency to be debased more with the fuel. But one area that's really gone up is an essential human need. And they know what they're doing. These people are evil genius. They picked on housing. So these bankers are all involved. I want you to look at all the people in California that have an interest in seeing the price of housing increase, which means, look at it this way, that means your dollar is being decreased, debased, deflated in regards to housing. Okay, that is what you can expect across the rest of the country, because as goes California, so goes the rest of the nation, and so goes the rest of the world. Okay, so we know all the people out there that are lending money, that they got their foot in there, that they don't care. They want the prices to go up. So they're all just capitalism, even though it's market manipulation, it's crony capitalism, it's price fixing, so price rigging, whatever you want to call it. They're manipulating the market because there's more extra housing in America than ever before in history, so they can't point to any supply and demand principles. And that includes California. So what you've got now is the lenders, all the people involved in the monetary transaction, the real estate agents, okay? Because they're going to get a higher commission. Now we've got the landlords who will get more rent as the housing prices go up. Now we've got the innocent homeowner that he's sitting there, but he says, hey, what the hell? I mean, can you imagine a homeowner selling his house for below the market value, which of course we know was manipulated to get there? Is he going to do that? No. Nobody is going to do that, folks. You see, they've done this to us. They have divided us. Did you know the majority of California residents today are renters? Now let me ask you how we're divided. So I've already listed 3 occupations out there, right? We've got the landlords. That includes all the property management companies. We have the innocent homeowner. We've got the lenders. We've got the real estate agents, of course, making more commission, the real estate brokers. And now we've also got the developers, okay? And we've got the government in there. Why is the government in there? Because the higher the housing prices go, the higher their tax base goes, because they collect property taxes on a percentage. So now the developers, the builders, the contractors, all of them say, what the hell? I mean, I got to get fair pay, so that's part of the price tag. Well, you got to pay. So all these people combined, and so many of these people building the houses, the carpenters that are getting cheated out of fair pay, and all the other tradesmen that are involved in building these homes, okay? There's electricians, the plumbers. It goes on.